wasting their time developing titles for Xbox Series X, PlayStation 5, and the PC. They should be focusing all their time and effort in maximizing the their support for Nintendo Switch consoles. Every game should be coming out on the most successful gaming platform. This isn't like rocket science. This isn't all that
Uh,
complicated. All we're
William
seeing
Smith
now is a lot
is
of bluster,
back
a lot of nonsense, a lot of like
here to
weird
give us
claims.
more of an explanation on why underpowered old piece of hardware is still somehow better than any of the modern technology that exists right now on the market. And from where I stand, I've seen the Nintendo Switch between its prices that it currently has, which is probably why they made a light version, are not really fair for the actual hardware. And you can make a computer for a lot cheaper and get better performance than with a Nintendo Switch. So, or you just get the Steam Deck, which is a much better, console to begin with. Technically console PC thing, which you can also use for emulation to emulate the same games that you can play on a Nintendo Switch. And from what I've seen, most of this is Harman Switch just having a mental breakdown because the Switch is basically just an underpowered old piece of hardware. And I guess he doesn't want to admit that. But let's see what else he has to say.
From developers who are paid off by Sony in order to support other platforms, but not Nintendo, into not supporting Nintendo Switch. That's what we're seeing here. Let's be real here. This has been happening since the 90s. It's been like a very prevalent problem, but now it's becoming more.
What the fuck is Hogan smoking, alright? That made no goddamn sense. Like, what in the hell? Sony's paying off other developers to help their platforms too, but not Nintendo, specifically not Nintendo's. I'm pretty fucking sure PlayStation, Xbox, and PC, all platforms, try to support themselves. And the only reason they start putting games onto PC or things like that is so they can make extra money because of economic issues. I'm pretty sure that's what's going on at least. And also the fact that PC players have wanted to play these games for a long time but refuse to buy their consoles, so they want money from the PC gaming community. They're gonna have to actually fork up the games. That's why. And why plenty of people emulate Nintendo's games. I have no clue what the fuck Hogan's talking about now. Going off about some fucking... The developers are paying off every single company, apparently. Just every one of them. Sony's just paying off Xbox's fees, apparently. Definitely not why PlayStation started crying about the fact that they had to give up Call of Duty. But besides that, let's see what else Hogan will say with his mental breakdown.
The PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X have absolutely nothing to offer to gamers whatsoever. The big new game of this generation, Hogwarts Legacy, is also coming to Switch, right? You have games that are available on every platform. You have games that like really should be available on Switch. There is no justification for Resident Evil 4 Remake or Elden Ring or like Returnal or like any of these other.
First off, each platform fits the user's needs and purposes. Whether or not I agree that the software and platform in itself is, actually worth that price, which I don't. Personally, I feel like consoles are overpriced and usually overhyped in ways such as with the SSD on the PS5, given that I've found out that even my older computers have a faster SSD than the PS5. And my current computer has two SSDs that are both faster than the PS5, so, but that's besides the point. See, Harman, where you're getting this all mixed up is with consoles, anyone can pick any platform, and no, most of them are severely overpriced. They might, actually look like if you go overly analytical about the numbers and the actual specs of the devices. But if you're not and you're just, trying to find a computer to have fun on the internet, well... you don't need to spend a lot of money on a fucking computer. Actually, you can spend a lot less on what the Nintendo Switch is and still have fun with it. and a lot of modern games are only designed to run on newer gen hardware. Nintendo Switch can't fucking run Doom Eternal or Doom properly. So what makes you think that Hogwarts Legacy is gonna actually fucking run whatsoever on Nintendo Switch without, I don't know, any of the issues Nintendo Switch has had for God knows how long? Hell, look at how Doom Eternal looks on Switch, and explain to me how that's supposed to, show how good Nintendo Switch is, and how it also behaves. Like, if all platforms just suddenly went with only using Nintendo Switch as baseline hardware for every game, over time, gaming would get worse, not better. That's why gaming has improved over time, and low-spec hardware has, for the most part, not been as necessary to use. It's still fun to use some of them, but, like the Raspberry Pi, for instance. But yeah, Hurtsmith makes me really believe he's not tried any other platform whatsoever. I mean, I know he has an Xbox, but I don't even think he really plays it at this point. And also with the games on Nintendo, personally I found a lot of them were not the funnest. Even some of the older ones. I still had fun with them, but I would rather play something completely different, like maybe Mafia 2 or some shit. Let's see what else he's gonna say in his mental breakdown.
Multi-platform games to not be available on Nintendo Switch. And in essence, if a developer really wants to produce high quality, unique, interesting stuff at an affordable price, right? If they want to stay within their budget, if they don't want to blow $100 million on Forspoken, they should be developing for the Nintendo Switch, which is.
Well, I understand that Forspoken is a piece of shit. I mean, that's why GameStop started throwing them away. But I don't think that means all developers need to move on to a lower end bit of hardware, like use weaker hardware to test their games. Knowing that most games in general, before they release on their main platform with a console game, they always program it with a computer beforehand, which also makes me more surprised with the Last of Us port looking like shit, and actually worse than an emulated version of The Last of Us. So, PlayStation fanboys want to talk shit about how the PC version launched and looks poor. Look at the emulated version, and you'll see my point. Given that's a PS3 version that looks better than a 2023 copy of the same exact fucking game. It's really retarded. But so is Harman Smith. Let's see how this man who's losing his mind over every other platform doing significantly better than Nintendo, because Nintendo's been slacking off for a little while. Just a little bit. Which is also partially why blind consumerism in general is not a good thing, but let's see what he'll say while he loses his mind. Let's see what else is there.
A much more reasonably priced, reasonably powered console, and that is the thing about this console generation. That is the thing about the PC, is that these platforms are indeed overpowered. They are overpriced. No developer can afford to properly support these consoles with develop games that can really max out their capabilities. So instead, they shouldn't even try. If they want to make good, compelling video games, they should be focusing on making good, compelling video games, not on supporting useless pieces of hardware that really have no business existing to begin with, right? PS5 and Xbox Series X should not be supported, okay? They shouldn't even be available for sale, honestly. And the only way that's ever going to happen is if we simply refuse to support them, don't pay their subscription fees, don't buy their games, don't buy their platforms, and instead focus all of our time, our energy, and our passion into playing Nintendo exclusives. I can tell you that I've had more fun playing Nintendo Switch Sports than I would have playing Elden Ring.
Well, I mean, from my personal experience on the Wii, I only had friends when playing with their friends or someone else, not when I played by myself, really. Especially after a while, once I played pretty much through all of the games on there. So, I feel like with the Switch, I still wouldn't have the same amount of fun, because I'm already, used to playing that game. Just like with other games, I slowly run out of, energy to keep playing the game over and over again. That's why I play a variety of different games over time. And I think you're missing the point, Harman, that your point's supposed to be that the Nintendo Switch is better because it's weaker. But all you've explained is that Nintendo Switch really just sucks as a platform right now because they haven't done anything. It's basically what you're saying, like this big cope about how Nintendo hasn't done anything and how, I mean, they're working on a Legend of Zelda game, which might be good, but given how the Switch's current hardware handles things, I think they should hold off until they either release a new handheld or something else. But people like Harman end up always harming Nintendo more than helping them because they act so extremist with their behavior. That's why you never really want to fanboy over anything anymore, because fanboys are usually stupid. So I guess by the end of the day, just stick with your own personal opinion and see where that gets you and land with the internet. Either will benefit you or screw you over. And that also depends on your own behavior or things that you want to admit or will lie about. Well, from what I've seen from Horton Smith is that he's just whining about the fact that his favorite handheld isn't holding up today. So I might speed up a part later on, maybe. Because of how, there's like one part where he just rants on and on about how, oh, the Nintendo Switch is underpowered and you won't have problems like with what happened with Forspoken. Or some bugs that can occasionally happen with Resident Evil 4's PC port, which I experienced, and it wasn't really that bad in my opinion. Just leave it on the recommended if you're having too many issues with it. A lot of it's NVIDIA hasn't released an update for a while too, so you know, drivers are not really in date, and a lot of games are gonna have fucking problems for that reason, and they've had issues with updating ever since they started the RTX series, so kind of makes sense. But overall, I've had no negative experiences on PC. Besides occasional bugs that you can fix pretty easily if you can follow any simple tutorial or think. Which is something Harman needs to figure out how to do. But yeah, let's see what else he has to say about this. If it is the repeating void of him talking about the exact same thing over and over again from start to finish.
Right? It's more challenging, it's more complex, there's more to do in the game, there's more technical depth, there's more variety in the gameplay. Like, Nintendo Switch Sports just dominates Elden Ring. And I feel like very few people will want to admit that because they want to continue deluding themselves into thinking that like, Elden Ring is somehow cutting edge or like the best game on the market when really it's not even close. There are better action RPGs, there are better open world games, there are better games period on Nintendo Switch, and yet we're still in this delusional period where nobody wants to admit it. People really are trying to justify their $4,000 PCs, their overpriced consoles, the fact that we have a new console generation to begin with, when none of that was really necessary. What people should have done is just demand better games on the consoles they already own. Like the PS4 was dead in the water, and so they had to pump out the PS5, which is also floundering. Like, just let the brand die and just support Nintendo going forward. Like, it's not all that complicated, but we're seeing like companies just fall over backwards trying to defend Sony. You have like Square Enix releasing statements saying that like, Final Fantasy 16 couldn't possibly run on a gaming PC, which is like ridiculous. Oh, we designed this exclusively for the PS5. Like, that's a load of crap. Everybody knows it. Like you have developers just crying about like blowing $100 million on like Forspoken. You have like the games as a service becoming more being pushed. You have like these people developing NFTs, right? Square Enix like legit fired their CEO and put forward the guy who was pushing for NFTs at the forefront of the company. And yet all anybody wants to talk about is this alleged idea that Pokemon is like going to start contributing to NFTs to begin with. I don't see a lot of people focusing on the Square Enix side of things, but I see people like trying to make stuff up about Pokemon. So interesting double standard there. Again, all this comes down to is Nintendo bad and everything else good. You know, like you're not allowed to be a Nintendo fanboy. You're not allowed to talk about like how Nintendo is superior to other consoles. But if you like gaming PC, oh, you're part of the master race. Oh, if you're a Sony fan, oh, you have the most successful TV show of all time, the best video game adaptation ever in the last month HBO. If you're an Xbox fan, oh, you're gonna own every single game company on the planet, and you have Xbox Game Pass, which is the most successful gaming streaming service in the world. Which is by the way, Switch Online is more popular. Why exactly are we here? Like, how exactly did we get to this point? Like, it really does feel like the vast majority of gaming YouTubers, of critics, of journalists, of analysts, like they're just downplaying the very real fact that Switch is the most popular platform by far for actually playing games. They just don't want to admit. They just do not want to admit that Nintendo has won the console war, and everything we're seeing now from like these clickbaiters, from these shills, from these influencers is just like trying to keep the force going for just a little bit longer to continue getting those clicks, to continue getting those super chats, to get those donations, those Patreon contributors, to just continue pretending that like someday the Dreamcast 2 is going to come back and just destroy everything. Like that maybe we'll get a good game on Xbox. Maybe if we keep supporting them. Like why does anyone care? Why does anyone support any of these platforms? PlayStation and Xbox will never be relevant. They never were relevant. They could never compete with Nintendo consoles, and I'm kind of sick of pretending they ever could. And PC gaming is so delusional. Like you guys think that like Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, like these are all like viable PC exclusives, which isn't even true, but like the fact that you use your PC to like look at naked women on the internet, or like you consider yourself a PC gamer. People like, oh no, it's Alex. Like probably male women, I suppose, fanboys. But what do they call them? What do they call them? Traps? Like I don't exactly know, but like considering that you can only find that on PC reliably, that's your favorite exclusive. That's what you're into. That's what gets you excited. That's what gets you passionate. Me, the actual gamer, I'm playing Nintendo Switch Sports. I'm playing Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. I'm playing Metroid Fusion, Mario, Luigi, Wario Land 3. I'm looking forward to Tears of the Kingdom. I'm playing Cereza. I'm playing Fatal Frame 4. Like I'm playing all these great Nintendo games that just most people are desperately trying to downplay. Enough is enough, right? If you're not playing exclusively on Nintendo hardware, you are not a fan of video games. If you're talking about the Last of Us HBO, you're not a gamer. If you talk about like Xbox Game Pass, you know, a bunch of these old games that you can easily acquire and used through a variety of different means, you're not a gamer. If you care about like Xbox or PlayStation at all, you're not a gamer. Like if you downplay some of the very best games in the entire industry, Mario, Zelda, Pokemon, Metroid, like you are not a gamer. That is what we're seeing here. Is that a bunch of people who are trying to push agendas to try to establish some kind of niche community in their online about hating Nintendo. We can't allow this to do. You are not gamers.
Pretty much from this point on, Harman Smith just repeats the same points they started with, which are that Sony is paying off other developers to help them keep going, because apparently Sony's the richest platform out of all of them. I'm pretty sure that's false. Definitely false. I'm pretty sure platforms all support themselves individually, and the only times they really want to support each other, or are forced to, is if fans want something that they haven't done, such as with crossplay or with both Sony and Xbox releasing their exclusives onto PC, which I think is a more reasonable move than anything else. But I do think it should still be exclusive on consoles, just not exclusive from PC, because they're gonna emulate it anyways, and it's funny that emulators usually do beat these consoles to begin with. If you emulate most games in comparison, will look a lot better emulated. Like with The Last of Us, if you emulate the PS3 version, that looks better than the new PC launch. And technically not and yes though, but I'd rather play the emulated version, because at least I know that I'm not going to experience some characters syncing throughout the map, even with the RTX card. But yeah, there's not much I can say about Harman except for he can keep coping as much as he wants. It's not gonna fucking change the fact that no one actually believes anything he says, and he's getting more and more delusional over time. This isn't even just schizophrenia at this point. This is just people watching a man actually lose his own fucking mind. It's quite entertaining, actually. I think I'll go now, and I don't know. Maybe upload this video, maybe not. If you enjoyed this video, consider considering liking and subscribing. That would be much appreciated. And if you didn't like it for a reason, leave it down in the comments. I'll see you all later.
I need help, it's so cold outside and I'm going through hell. I don't feel alive, sometimes I can't tell, cause every day I try but I think I need help. Maybe if I fight one day I'll be well. Want someone by my side but I'm stuck in my shell. Want someone to rely on but everyone's selfish, helpless, so damn jealous. And I just wish I never felt this. In this world from sea to shining sea, there's a way for me to go be free. There's a way for me to go be me. I just know that there's a place for me. 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 Like I'm alone in this place, and so sick of feeling like life is gonna be wasted. I just wanna be someone, wanna be greatness, yeah. I just wanna be happy, wanna make changes. But I don't know where to start, how do I grow? Maybe there's something inside I could strive for. Maybe it's all in my mind I could guide towards something better in my life I could fight for. In this world from sea to shining sea, there's a way for me to go be free. There's a way for me to go be me. I just know that there's a place